God,
God,
grant me the serenity
Grant me the serenity to
I
accept the
cannot
things
change,
I cannot change,
the courage to change
courage to
the
change
things
the
I
things I
can,
can,
and the
and the
wisdom.
wisdom to know the difference.
Welcome to the Georgia Regional First Virtual Convention, GRCNA 39.5, New Possibilities Arise. Our intention for this virtual convention is to make available to our fellowship and weekend of recovery, celebration, and fun. We hope that all addicts receive the NA message of recovery while they are participating in this event. It is our hope that the message we carry may truly let everyone know the NA is a place to recover and that no addict seeking recovery need die from addiction. Workshop guidelines. Please dress appropriately on camera. Please keep your microphone on mute unless you are asked to unmute by the host or co-host. If you have a question or need general assistance during the workshop, please contact the host or one of the co-hosts via direct message in chat. If there is time after our workshop speakers finish, participants may have an opportunity to share their experience, strength, and hope on the workshop topic. If you would like to share after the speakers are finished, please raise your hand, virtual hand. Your virtual hand can be raised by going to the reactions window on your computer or by going to the More section on your phone. You will be called on to share and unmute or asked to unmute yourself by one of the hosts if time permits. Please limit such shares to 3 to 4 minutes. I've asked for volunteers for our readings. Would someone volunteer to read how it works?
I'm Kat. I'm a great recovering addict, and this is how it works. If you want what we have to offer and are willing to make the effort to get it, then you are ready to take certain steps. These are the principles that made our recovery possible. 1, we admitted that we were powerless over our addiction, that our lives had become unmanageable. 2, we came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3, we made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood him. 4, we made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. 5, we admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6, we were entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7, we humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. 8, we made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9, we made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10, we continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. 11, we sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. 12, having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to addicts and to practice these principles in all of our affairs. Thanks for allowing me to serve.
Thanks, Kat.
Thanks, Kat.
Ask a volunteer to read the 12 traditions of NA.
Hey family, I'm Linda, I'm an addict.
Hey, Linda.
Hey, Linda.
Hey everybody. These are the 12 traditions of Narcotics Anonymous. We keep what we have only with vigilance, and just as freedom for the individual comes from the 12 steps, so freedom for the group springs from our traditions. As long as the ties that bind us together are stronger than those that would tear us apart, all will be well. 1, our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends on NA unity. 2, for our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a loving God as he may express himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants, they do not govern. 3, the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop using. 4, each group should be autonomous, except in matters affecting other groups or NA as a whole. 5, each group has but one primary purpose, to carry the message to the addict who still suffers. 6, an NA group are never endorse, finance, or lend the NA name to any related facility or outside enterprise, lest problems of money, property, or prestige divert us from our primary purpose. 7, every NA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. 8, Narcotics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers. 9, NA as such will never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve. 10, Narcotics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues. Hence, the NA name will never be drawn into public controversy. 11, our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films. 12, anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities.
Linda.
You're welcome.
Thanks for reading.
Our first speaker today, thanks for everybody that read. Our first speaker today is Medina J. from Augusta, Georgia. First speaker shares 25 to 30 minutes.
Okay. Hey, everybody. When I was asked to do this workshop, I was like, first of all, thank goodness that I'm still alive to be able to do it. My name is Medina and I am an addict. My clean date is 4/10/91. I'm coming up on my 30 years. I can't even believe that I've been able to be of service to this particular state for over 14 years. I've been here, in Georgia, but I've traveled because I'm originally from New York, Brooklyn, New York, and started my service work right out of treatment. I don't even believe that I was 30 days without being in a position. So, I've only been, I say, 2 years or 3 years in my whole time that I've been in recovery without being of some service to Narcotics Anonymous on the service structure level. So, it's a rewarding experience. And I've grown so much over time. When I first came into Narcotics Anonymous, like it's talking about in a Living Clean Journey Continues chapter or section, I should say, spirituality into action, it talks about being in survival mode. And I remember being in that survival mode. I remember, that fear of the unknown and scared that nobody was going to love me or like me or want to be around me. And that's not what I got when I came to Narcotics Anonymous. Yeah, there are the cream of the crop. And then there's those who don't even know they're the cream of the crop in Narcotics Anonymous. It's a mixture of different people. And my experience, strength, and hope is that I was 14 years old when I came into Narcotics Anonymous. So every day on body was scary to me. To sit down, shut up, take the cotton out of your ears and stick it in your mouth. Make 90 and 90, get a home group, sponsor, that they didn't just talk about that stuff when I came in. They showed you. And that helped me get through a lot of that fear, and I believe it talks about as well about different times in your life where you will have your world open up, and that was that moment. Those moments for me was when I was being shown by other addicts that had more experience, that had been clean for a while. If you had 9 or 10 years back then, you were like a god, a guru, but I learned very quickly also that not everybody is here in recovery to recover, and I had a lot of mistakes I made that helped to foster the person that I am today. I was very rude, very abrasive for a very long time. And it was because I didn't know how to connect with that higher power that they talk about. For me, I didn't believe that a higher power actually cared. And when they said, prayer and meditation, I was like, who are they talking to? And it took an old timer, to tell me and actually show me, how to pray, because I was afraid that if I went into a religious organization or what have you, that the daggone bricks would come down and I, multiple combust, because I was my own worst enemy for a very long time. I don't like to dwell on what got me here, because I truly believe in the literature. It doesn't matter what got you here. For me, it's what's keeping me here. And what's keeping me here is those little finite moments that I had that come to realization, because they told me that you don't just surrender once. I learned that I had to surrender on a daily basis, and sometimes surrender even moment to moment, because of that fear of being open and being honest. I learned that even as it says in the literature, the same chapter, a prayer is reaching out for help. And where I come from, it was a sign of weakness to ask for help. That, I was taught that you were supposed to do it on your own or not do it at all. I'm from Bed-Stuy. They say do or die trying. So if I was going to go and get high, if I was going to steal, if I was going to lie, if I was going to harm somebody, if my intent was in my mind and in my spirit to go out and do that, that is what I was going to do. And so with that same energy that it took for me to get to the degree that I was at when I came into the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, it took even more for me to get to a humble place, because I realized switching sponsors for because I didn't want to do step work, because I was too lazy to get into it and I was too scared of what I might see in it, only stunted my growth. And then not praying or having a higher power of my own understanding also stunted my growth. So it's not about saying the words, it's about actually living the words for me. So I had to actually put the work into writing that step down, getting deeper. And I lied on my daggone step work for years. Okay. I went into meetings and preached a whole bunch of crap that I heard, and it bit me right in the behind, because the damage I did to the people that heard the crap that I said, I ended up taking even more time to get more spiritually connected to my higher power, because I was so busy distracting myself with so many unnecessary things, gossip mongering, character assassinating. All I did was put me farther and farther away from where my higher power intended me to be, and I want to say, like, the first 5 years I was running around in Narcotics Anonymous chasing clout through service work. I said it real slow for a reason, because I thought that I would be better if I had a title. I thought that I was going to look and appear, special if I seemed like I was doing the work. But I didn't have my heart and my spirit in it, because it was just a band-aid to all of the stuff that I was trying to cover up and not deal with. Like having and building a relationship with my higher power, and like building a relationship with myself. Because see, I would try so hard to fake the funk and pretend that I was on my recovery. It's sort of like dancing to a song over and over again until you get wore out. And I had to hit a bottom with pretending to be something that I was not. Because I came into the rooms with, bruises and battered internally. And I wasn't willing to do what it took, because I was afraid to actually see just how I was never a mistake in the first place. But I had to get to that point, as I was saying, like my first 5 years, I was running around. So everything that the old timers told me not to do, I did, just so that I would be able to have something to talk about with the other ladies, jumping from one person to the next person, going on a job, giving them attitude, because I ain't gonna do that. You don't know who I am. I'm a legend type attitude. All of that hurt me more than it helped me. I did learn what not to do, but I learned it because I put myself through it unnecessarily. And it took me the better part of 10 more years to get clear, because I'm the one that actually had a child with a newcomer. I'm the one that had married a newcomer. Separate. I was a serial marriager. Okay? Because it was okay for me to dress you up and make you look good, stand next to you instead of work on me. And when we talk about spirituality and action, it's talking about those parts where you have the world open up, and then you have so many options that it becomes strange. And for me, it was like I didn't know that I had the world at my feet after I cleared up and cleaned up and started trying to recover. But it's like I felt like once I cleaned up my act and started making a commitment, because I realized that the agreements that I had with myself were false. That dreams, the dreams awakening part, those were dreams that I made up based off somebody else's perspective of what I should be. And so when it comes down to trying to get more God-centered, I had to take a step back. I had to stop. I mean, it's not rocket science, but if you keep on going and getting yourself into a bad situation and don't learn a lesson from it, you can't blame nobody. And I had to learn that because I kept getting into situations that would compromise my integrity, would compromise my worth, my dignity, my morals, my values, my ethics. And I'm gonna try to do this the best way that I can. You guys, please forgive me. I have just learned how to do, it won't let me do it. Okay. So I had outlined certain things within the chapter that I really, really connected with. On page 69, it says, the ability to change our assumptions about the world to one of the most important freedoms we have. I believe that I wasn't lovable. I believe that my God, my higher power was temperate, temporary. Like if I did good in school, then my God loved me. Okay. Or if I did good at work and got, that my God loved me. But I had to do instead of the superficial change, I had to do the internal change. So I had to stop doing stuff like telling newcomers, don't get into a relationship for your first year, when that was a lie. I did that, and I had to stop trying to be my sponsee's mama because they don't want to make meetings and all of this kind of stuff. I got to be at their house and pick them up and take them to a meeting because they're going to be at a meeting if they my sponsee. That's not my position. Okay. Yes, it's important to be supportive to other addicts, but at the same time, I had to learn how to not get in the way of other people's journey. Stop putting distractions in my path, get out of my way so that I can do what my higher power needs me to do, and I didn't want to accept that, but I had to accept it, fixing everybody else, being there for everybody else, but not being there for myself, talking the talk, but not walking the walk. I had to change everything, and not once. Cause see, that's the thing that I didn't get right away. How the curl don't curl, how the screw ain't just right, it didn't screw all the way in. I missed the memo. Okay. For me, I had to learn that I don't just stop at one surrender. I don't do the change just once, just like I have grown since I've came into the Narcotics Anonymous. Every pinnacle moment. Like 5 years clean, I was a different person from when I was, one day. I had changed. I had completed, a lot of stuff. High school, you know, I have gone to college, and this was in support. My home group was like at my graduation. You know what I'm saying? And my prom, they was there for me to help me pick out my dress and all this kind of stuff. Like, y'all were there for me in spite of myself. And I wouldn't look at asking for help is not a bad thing. So I had to learn how to accept help. All of these things are spiritual actions. Okay. And I didn't know that. I didn't know that it's okay to cry in front of people in a meeting. Because I was raised on that never let them see you sweat type stuff, and I had to learn that it's okay to be courageous, and it's okay to receive a compliment. I didn't even know how to take a compliment. Somebody said, "You look nice." I'm over there looking at like they must want my money. They want something from me, and I'm ready to fight. I had to learn how to calm all the way down. And that took a lot of time. This is not overnight. By the time I got to 18 years clean, I'm not rushing through, because 5 years I was a different person. 10 years I was a different person. I had 3 kids, done been married 3 times, done been through bankruptcy 3 times, because I was always putting everybody else's needs before my own and surrendering half-heartedly, and instead of fully letting go. I don't have to be in control. I am not in control, and it's okay to be powerless, So by the time I got 18 years clean, I was like, dang, man, I kept seeing the same scenario over and over again. I'm in a relationship, dating this person, trying to manage my bills, and the traditions are not just to be read. We can live them just like we live the steps, and they have spiritual principles that go along with them that help, and I had to put that into action. I had to remember that unity does not mean just when a man and a woman get together. It's not it. And it's not the family reunion. It's more than that. I had to learn that when I do selfless things, or if I say that I'm doing this selfless act, that I'm not seeking something in return, because it's supposed to be less of me and more of the other person. And that was a hard thing to do, because where I come from, if I give, you give back. If, give and take, and even though I would mouth the words to people, I didn't live it inside. And so what I did was I had to surrender. I stopped doing a whole lot of things, but it took time, because you can't do it all at one shot, and I had to learn that too, because I wanted to hurry up and heal. I was tired of feeling broken. I was tired of feeling like another sob story, a whole bunch of horror and not enough happy. I had to make a commitment to myself that I'm going to be better, not pretend, not mouth, be better. I was reading the disclaimer before entering into the workshop, and I was like, how am I going to share without cussing? That is a significant part of, and that's not true. That's not true. I'm gainfully employed. I work in an environment where I have to mind what I say. The content of my conversation and dialogue should not have profanity in it at this point. And I understand that now, and a lot of the bugaboos about getting on virtual meetings and stuff like that, the anonymity piece, I don't even care. I don't even care. You know why? Because If it wasn't for Narcotics Anonymous, I wouldn't even be here. And that is the truth. Because before I learned how to live, I was trying my darndest to die. Okay. And then when it comes down to putting the spirituality into action, it's a step at a time for me. It's a tradition at a time for me. It's a concept at a time for me. All of the literature, the pamphlets, all of it is vital to my recovery. You know, I used to do 12-step calls and all of that kind of stuff. You would have thought I was Rambo coming in a crack house to take somebody out. Like I was that powerful, you know, and the reality of it is that I needed those experiences to understand that everything that I have been given is only but the grace of my higher power. Because you know, and I know when we, back in the 90s, honey, Narcotics Anonymous was a whole nother different can of worms. You know, we were so serious and so afraid. And I'm so grateful to those old timers that took the time to show me how to read the literature. If you don't know the words, get a dictionary. I had a composition book, a pencil, and a dictionary when we had step study. And you never knew when that was. So we carried all of our literature with us. Like I was in school all the time, leave high school, then go to treatment, then go to meetings. Okay. And I had my literature with me in my school locker, real talk. Okay. Because you just never know, you know. I am so grateful for those moments, you know, because when I look at that reality that we're facing right now of a lot of addicts not knowing what it's like to go to a physical meeting, get that love, okay, on a consistent basis, and then have an old timer sit down with you and walk you through the basic text. You read to the old timer because they ain't gonna do all the work, trust me. And sit there with them, and you don't understand, you get them to you ask them questions, and then, you know, look where it say in the book. Let's go to the back of the basic text and the index. If you have a question about a feeling or emotion or whatever, I don't know how, it's in the book. I didn't believe it, but I tried it. And 29 and some change later, 29 years and some change later, it's still working for me because that's how I sponsor. I don't know how to do it any other way. I tried all of this other stuff, but the one that works is the one that keeps me clean, you know. And like, I don't know how to emphasize it enough. Spirituality and action is an act of faith, because you have to surrender, you have to be honest, you have to be open-minded and willing. Because, you know, the question, you know, posed in my mind, what is spirituality in action? Well, let me tell you, I go to work every day, 5 days a week, in an environment where they're not testing these people. And I just pray before I go, I meditate before I go, clock in, do my job, and come home. And I leave it there. I leave it there. Because what y'all told me in meetings was, if it don't apply, let it fly. And I have to say that to myself. I have to tell myself no. I have to tell myself not to make a mountain out of a molehill. And it took a lot of time of outside resources, you know, to help me get to a point where I can say that honestly right now, and it is the truth. I stopped trying to be something that I'm not. And I learned how to be my authentic self by walking the spiritual principles, by living the spiritual principles, because there's people that I have been in service work that don't even recognize the person that I am. Because when I came in to Narcotics Anonymous, I was broken and I could not accept me, not you, me. You know, I did so much damage to myself that I had to relearn how to be a friend to me. And it talks about it in the spirituality into action. All of these things come up. And it's not something that we should take lightly. You know, I remember before the pandemic, you know, I was doing okay with taking my medicine. And I had made the commitment, started eating right, eating properly, you know, and then I somehow gained all of this weight. We was at the stay-at-home order and everything, seafood, eat it, happened. So when I went back, they let us go back to work. I'm like 200 pounds. And I'm talking about everything on me jiggled. And I was like, this is a shame. And so I had to go again, surrender again, accept who I had become in a short period of time and do the work. So I started taking my medicine again like I was supposed to. And when I say my medicine, I have allergies really bad. I have a latex allergy. And so I have to carry an EpiPen. So I was ashamed of that. And so I had to make myself put it in my bag and not be afraid to tell my coworkers, if something happens, please pull this out and give me this EpiPen shot, and then call, 911. I had to do that. I had to make myself do that. Okay. And then I had to start making sure that I drank enough water, because and I know soda, juice, coffee, you name it, that's fine, but drinking water. So I did that. Okay. And I made a commitment to drink a certain amount of water every single day. Okay. And that helped me because I was so committed to everybody else. I'm talking about breaking it all the way down. We can say it, but do we really do it? So I did that, and within 30 days, 30 to 60 days, I lost all of that weight. So I went from a size 16 to a size 10. Okay. I walked, I prayed, I meditated, I started painting. I always been into painting and art stuff, but I recommitted myself to things that I love. And all of that I learned from Narcotics Anonymous, believe it or not. I found me, in other words. So now I'm at the right weight, for the medicine that I take, because most of the time when they give you medicine, they go and give it to you based on your weight. And so here I am saying that I'm all of this, that, and the third. I got all this clean time and all of this kind of stuff. But then how am I really treating myself? Am I really loving myself? How can I say I love somebody else when I don't have enough courage to do what it takes to keep myself alive? Because I take high blood pressure medicine and stuff, but I'm over here eating all of this salt, fried this, fried that, smothered gravy, over this rice, biscuits, all of this kind of stuff. And in reality, all I did was do the process of substitution, because I'm not gossip mongering, because I'm not, running and chasing men folk, because I've been married in a happy marriage for over 10 years. But that doesn't mean that I still don't have things that I need to work on. And so I'm looking at myself from a different perspective on today. How I treat me is how I want people to treat me, with care, and that again is so important right now, because we could talk about how powerful this pandemic has been and all of those things that are surrounded by it. But at the end of the day, as long as my higher power give me breath in my body, I need to make the best of those days, make the best of that day, and treat myself how I want to be treated. Show others how I would like to be treated. And that way I can treat and love others the way my higher power intended me to. And all of that, of which I said, is in the chapter Spirituality into Action. Now that's my take on it. You know, that's how it relates to me. But I just want to say to anybody that's out there that's going through, you're not the only one. This is not the end. Okay, we will make it, and we've been through worse. Because if you've been through the barrels of hell of addiction to get to the rooms of Narcotics Anonymous, you're a winner. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Thanks for
Thank you
sharing.
for sharing,
That was
Medina.
awesome.
Thanks for sharing.
Thanks for sharing, Medina. I came to the right workshop. Yes.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Charlie G.
Charlie, I'm an addict.
Hey, Charlie.
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 Be here. Thank you, Medina, for sharing. And thank you for talking about the disclaimer because
Leanne, you need to put your.
I didn't read the disclaimer. I didn't know he's supposed to be cursing in this meeting. So I'm gonna try to live up to that standard. We'll see how it goes. So when I was thinking about this topic, I mean, my first thought when it was proposed to me was, you know, the typical addict response. I am not the one to be talking about spirituality in action. I am, clearly there's other addicts who are better qualified to talk about this, who walk around with a deeper connection to their higher power throughout their day-to-day basis. Because most of the time it's not like that for me. You know, I can get real caught up in my head and it can get real dark up there. And so, you know, that was my first addict response. And then I took a deep breath and I said a prayer and thought about what I do have to offer. And, you know, I don't know if anybody else is going to get anything out of this other than me, or if I'll get anything out of it for that matter. But, you know, that's not up to me. That's up to God. So I'm going to try to put some spirituality in action and just share my experience. And the first thing that I was thinking about, or that kept coming back to me, was something an old timer named Dennis P. up in Marietta used to share. He would share, "We are restored to sanity one situation at a time." And that has always stuck with me. I first heard it as a newcomer and had no clue what that meant. And I'm sure there's more to be revealed about it too, because as I stay here, it keeps meaning more and more. But basically, what I get out of that is that first off, when I got here as a newcomer, I was taught from the beginning, we work the steps in any situation. We can work the steps and they can bring us serenity, bring us joy, bring us peace, show us a new way to live in literally any situation that we come across. And so in every moment I have a choice. There is an option for restoration to sanity, or there is an option for insanity. There is an option for connection to my higher power. There's an option for love and peace and connection with other people, or there's my defects. And really any situation, I can go either way. I do have a choice once I get to that second step anyways. And also that this is not a one-time event. Literally in every situation I am put to that test, you know, which way am I going to go? And when I got here and I was new, you know, I did not have any spiritual beliefs that I knew of. You know, I certainly didn't have any religious beliefs, and I was really skeptical of the word God and the steps. And but you know, I didn't get this on my first time around. I actually, you know, went to treatment once. First off, I got clean when I was 21. My clean date is February 20th, 2009. And when I got here, I didn't get it my first time around. I first went to treatment when I was 18 years old, and I used the whole time in an outpatient treatment program, living in a recovery house. But when I actually went to treatment a second time and was willing, I had the gift of desperation, like we talk about in our literature. All of my illusions of being able to use successfully had been shattered because I had literally tried everything that I could think of. I tried switching drugs. I tried stashing drugs at other people's houses. I was also, whatever, doing the illegal things that we do to get by. And literally everything I could think of, I had tried. I hiked the Pacific Crest Trail from Mexico to Canada to get away from my disease. I literally walked from Mexico to Canada in order to try to figure out how to control the disease of addiction. That didn't work either. I was out of ideas and I was broken and I was ready for anything. So I started working the steps. And when people talk about if it's not practical, it's not spiritual. That's another one that I didn't really understand to begin with. And what that means to me today, at least for this addict, is that if I can't practice this in my life, it's not like my spiritual growth is really contingent on being able to practice in my life in front of me. And really what that means is living the principles. And I just want to take like really the rest of this time, just talk about a couple moments of what practicing the principles and the steps has brought to my life, how that's really the only way that I can understand spirituality in action. Because when I practice these principles, I get closer to God and my life opens up and paths open to me that I never imagined possible. So I'll share a couple things. First, when I was about 9 months clean, I was trying to go back to school. And that was always something that was really important to me and a huge source of shame. Because one of my assets as a person and something that really mattered to me was school, was education. It was something that I had a passion for. It was something that I thrived at. And like anything else, being able to honor that, those best parts of me, was completely impossible during active addiction. So I was expelled from one institution of higher learning for what the security, the campus safety, whatever, at the this place that I went to used to be a U.S. Marshal. And when they came and saw what was going on in my apartment and the junky lair that they found in there, he said it was the most shocking and appalling thing he had seen in 20 years of law enforcement. So I got booted out real quick and tried to go other places and, just kept creating the same situation over and over again with worse results every time. And so I had a lot of fear when I got clean and was trying to go back to school and honor those best parts of me, that creative action of the spirit that we talk about, that we are given the gift and the freedom to actually use once we get clean. I was afraid it wasn't going to happen. I was afraid that there were already too many consequences, that there was too much baggage, and nobody was going to have anything to do with me. However, there was a little catch. I found out that this particular disciplinary action didn't actually show up on my transcript. So there was a chance that if I lied about it, or if I just lied by omission, then nobody was going to find out. And there was a potential chance to escape these consequences. And I was on the third step at the time, about 9 months clean, when I was writing and submitting these applications. And there was an old timer who was my grant sponsor at the time who I talked to. Her name was Casey O, and she was wonderful. And I'm on the third step and I'm like, I don't know what God is. I don't know how to turn my will and my life over to it. I don't know if my God works that way. What does that mean? Like, I don't understand how any of this works. And she told me self-will is doing what you want to do, and God's will is what happens when you get out of the way. I was like, okay, I can get behind that. So what does that mean? And working with my sponsor, what I come to find out is that in this particular situation, going back to being restored to sanity, one situation at a time, it meant that I practiced the principle of honesty, no matter what. And I didn't like that idea very much. And the first application that I submitted, I lied by omission. I applied to 4 colleges. One was Georgia State, one was Kennesaw, one was Oglethorpe, and one was Emory University. And I left it off my application to Georgia State. They found out, called me about it. And I'm doing the whole, oh, well, you know, what had happened was, oh, did I say that? Oh, what I meant to say, they were not buying it. They did not admit me. And that was the application that I had submitted first. And I kept working that 3rd step in the meantime. It was about a month between them. And for those other 3 applications, I told the truth. Said, yep, I have this disciplinary action. It is related to addiction. I am now in recovery. I went to this treatment center. Here's a reference from them. You can talk to them. I do service today. I was, you know, involved in service, representing my home group, doing H&I. This is my life, and this is the truth. And all 3 of those universities accepted me, every single one. And so what I came to find out from that situation is that, like I said, when I practice the principles, I get connected to my higher power. I get connected to God, and paths open for me that if I try to do it my way, if I stay in my self-will and I don't get out of the way, I'm going to close my universe to my own defects. And that's just it. And that was a gift, to be able to see real clearly. This is what happened when you lie. This is what happens when you tell the truth. This is what happens when you practice principles. So that was a real powerful example. And I kept thinking, you know, and turning this topic over, like, what does spirituality and action really look like in my life today? And I kept coming back to the love that I get in these rooms, and that the way I get to carry that love out of these rooms because of what I get in here. Just the gift of fellowship when, I mean, I don't know if y'all can relate to this experience, but every time, especially I go to a convention or I go to a meeting where just like, just that atmosphere of recovery is just in the room and there's nothing you can do about it. And it just cracks you open like a walnut and just leaves you wide open and vulnerable. And that happens to me all the time in Narcotics Anonymous. Those are the moments in which I feel closest to my higher power. And those are some of the scariest moments. I don't think I'm alone as an addict when saying vulnerability and intimacy are really quite scary, because way before I picked up the dope, I knew I wasn't enough and never was going to be. And so when I get to come in here and learn that that's not true, there is a powerful spiritual transformation that happens in that moment every single time. And so I went to school, got my undergraduate degree, and I went to graduate school. And because that creative action of the spirit had been nourished, and I was given the tools to be able to show up for it. And I decided that I wanted to get a PhD in Spanish and Portuguese and teach languages and literature and cultural studies and do all that. So I got into a PhD program at Vanderbilt University, and I'm talking gifts of recovery that first year. So I went just to do Spanish, but because I'm an addict and one's too many, they had a combined program in Portuguese. I was like, cool, I'll do that too. Yeah, what the fuck not? Okay, I gotta learn Portuguese now. And so that first year, I took Portuguese classes, and I applied for this scholarship to go to Brazil and study over that summer in 2015. And the federal government paid for this junkie, this addict, to go to Brazil. And it also, the program literally started on the same weekend as the World Convention in Rio de Janeiro. So I got to go to that convention, and I went alone, didn't know anyone that was going to the convention, and got, plane from Atlanta to Miami to Sao Paulo. And I'm waiting there in the airport after that red-eye flight, just totally drained. And I see the addicts walking around with NA shirts. And I'm like, okay. And they're speaking Spanish. So I'm like, okay, I know I can talk to them, but it's scary and it's another language and I don't know. And I'm cool. I'm going to stay in my little shell over here. Didn't talk to him. Get on the plane and get up at some point to go to the bathroom. And of course, it's right at the moment that the stewardess is in the aisle and she's blocking it with the drink cart. And I'm stopped standing literally directly next to these addicts who are wearing NA shirts and speaking in Spanish. And I'm just like, okay, God, like I gotta show up here. And so I just like kind of leaned over and said, it was like, hey, I like your shirt. And they were like, you in NA? I'm like, yeah. They're like, oh my God, like we're all here. We're all from worldwide. Like, here, like come, like hang out with us. Like, yo, meet all these people. Okay, we're gonna meet you in the gate as soon as we get off the plane, and you gotta hang out with us. And just like immediately, I have love, I have fellowship, all because I just take a moment to step out of my self-centered fear and say hello to somebody. That is what I get in Narcotics Anonymous at 30,000 feet in the air on an airplane in Brazil. Like, this is what we get here when we get out of the way. You know what I'm saying? And I went get off at the gate, and just immediately it's just like we just move in packs. Like addicts just know how to get shit done. Well, see, I'm already cursing. There we go. But you know how to get stuff done. And so, find a cab, get the cheapest cab fare, ride with these addicts, and just like immediately, like I have family wherever I go in the world. And I spent a lot of time at that convention with those addicts, made a lot of other friends, and just got to see just the power of Narcotics Anonymous in all of these different languages, with all of these different cultures, in another country, with addicts coming from all over the world. I don't have the words to talk about the spiritual gift that comes with being able to witness that and just be a part of that. And yeah, got numbers, got names from people at the place where I was going to be studying, hooked me up with a group to go to, had a place to go to every night. People invite me to go see movies with them, go hang out at the mall with them, just go do the stuff that we do. I get fellowship anywhere in the world that there's Narcotics Anonymous, if I'm willing to step out of my fear and open to it. And Medina said something about fear of anonymity, and that's been a big thing for me. And it's something that I'm starting to surrender to and trust the process with a little bit. I've always been very guarded about my anonymity, like in my professional life, and not letting a whole lot of people know outside of the rooms that I'm a recovering addict. Really out of fear of what could happen if I do. And the same thing was happening when I went to graduate school. There was like one person that I got pretty close with in that program that I told pretty early on that I was in recovery, and she didn't tell anyone. Swears up and down she never told anyone. I was in a class one day, and we were doing sort of a peer editing exercise, and I got paired up with somebody who I liked but was just an acquaintance and didn't really know. And we went off to a different room to work together, to read each other's stuff. And we sit down. She's like, before we get started, can I ask you a question? And I was like, sure. She's like, do you know any good AA meetings in the area? I'm just like, what? And I asked her, why are you asking me? Why are you asking me? She's just like, I don't know. I just had a feeling that you might know. And that was one of those moments of where I can open up to vulnerability, to this opportunity that the universe is putting out to me, or I can shut down and close myself off. And I always carry my medallion in my little pocket in my jeans. And so I just pulled it out and put it on the table and told her, yo, I can't tell you anything about AA, but I'll tell you all about NA. What do you want to know? And come to find out, she had a sister who was an addict and, wanted to know about meetings, and she wanted to know about Nar-Anon, and she became one of my best friends. But I share that story to say that after we became friends, she wouldn't tell me how she knew that I was an addict. And she wouldn't tell me for a long time, even after we became friends. And I would ask her about it every once in a while. And finally, she told me the truth. She told me that she had a dream, that she saw me shooting dope and active addiction, and just knew when she got paired up with me that I would be able to talk. And I've spent a lot of time in recovery being unsure of my relationship with God, unsure of what God is, unsure if there's a plan, you know, that I can trust in. And moments like that are what I get when I choose to open up, you know? So spirituality in action, the best thing I can say is when I like willingly, intentionally live these principles in any given moment where I can be restored to sanity, then that's what my spirituality in action looks like. That's how I get joy. That's how I get peace. That's how I get serenity. And I was in my home group last Wednesday, and the topic was the third step, and we were reading out of the basic text, and there was a line there that said, this decision to turn our will and our life over to the care of the God of our understanding is a decision that we cannot make often enough. Literally every situation, that is a decision I can make. And it's not the decision that I was about to say it's not a decision that I make enough, but I'm so grateful for recovery that I don't have to judge myself as harshly as I used to anymore. Really, there's an opportunity to make it more. And that really brings me to today. And where I'm at right now, this is something I really shared like a lot about, but so I finished my PhD. I did that. Got one job after that, got another one. And I don't know, how much people in the room or listening or wherever have, I don't know how much people know about kind of like academia world. But basically I'm in a job where I don't have a lot of security and I have to do a lot of teaching. I have like 88 students. And I work all the time for not a whole lot of money, or at least not what seems like it, for the 5 years that I spent in graduate school. And I gotta say, like, I'm pretty unhappy a lot of the time. And maybe that's a gratitude thing. Maybe that's just the I don't know, maybe I gotta figure out how to balance things better. But it's just real. It's a lot of times I don't feel like I'm really where I want to be. And that's hard to deal with. And so action, right? I'll just share, so I live in Indiana right now. I work at a university up here. And I have an opportunity potentially to come back to Atlanta. And I made it to like the final round of interviews at this job. That would be freaking awesome. It would be on the tenure track. It would be job security. It would let me do other things that I want to have to do without having so many freaking students. And I'm waiting to hear. All my footwork is done. I'm just waiting. And I got to say, it's absolutely terrifying. But I want to talk about the gift of spirituality in action, because even though I judge myself a lot of times, and even like that feeling of not worthiness was the first thing that came up when this topic was presented to me. My life is so much freaking better today because it is not an every waking moment freaking obsession and like terror of if I get told no. I know I'm scared of getting told no. I'm real scared of it. And it's like, this is the thing, it's just like, okay, there's room for growth here. Because this whole 11th step, like, your will be done, whatever it is, I know I'm good. I know I'm taken care of. I don't really have that. I'm just gonna be real with y'all. Like, I don't really have that. But the daily practice of like, please help me to surrender this, help me to get a better perspective on my life. Like, yeah, That I understand. And when I share honestly about it, I get, again, this opportunity to open to God by fucking telling the truth. And there's I don't want to get into all the details, but there was sort of a wrinkle that came up before I did my final interview. I was like, oh God, if I get asked about this thing, I don't really want to tell the truth. I should probably lie about it. And I shared with another addict about this fear. And he was like, didn't I hear you share your story one time where you talked about like lying and getting into college and then you told the truth and you got in everywhere? I was like, that's how this thing works. I tell y'all all my business and then you weaponize it against me to save my life. Well, thank you. And so, yeah, I didn't lie. I told the truth. And so that's where I'm at, y'all. There's like a lot happening here that's scary. There's a lot of times when I don't have a gratitude. And sometimes that makes me feel unworthy of like this, whatever, ideal of being a spiritual giant that, sometimes we may think we're supposed to be in here. But I'm grateful for the gifts and the tools of the experience of these incredible experiences that I have of what happens if I just practice these principles to the best of my ability, one situation at a time. There is joy and beauty that I never, ever could have imagined. And I came in here waking up every day wanting to die. Could not stop using for anything. And now I got 12 years clean. And though I may not be happy sometimes, like Narcotics Anonymous gives me a better perspective on my life. And I got a pretty beautiful life going on. So I'm gonna leave it off there. Thank y'all for letting me share.
Thanks, Charlie.
Thanks for sharing,
That was
Charlie.
awesome, Charlie.
Great message. Thank you.
You, sir. Share that screen, Kat.
Thanks, Charlie. Thanks, Medina. Would any participants care to share share their own strength and hope on our workshop topic? We have a few more minutes. Anybody wish to share?
I don't have any hands up.
Anybody?
Myra?
Myra.
Hi, I want to thank both of the speakers. I'm Myra Addict.
Hey,
I
Mara.
want to thank both of the speakers for their awesome shares. Charlie, I got so excited when I heard you say that you were in Brazil the day that our World Convention started. And it started on my 16th anniversary. I landed in Brazil and I said, well, I've got to look through my photos now and see if I got a photo of you in all of my photos. And it's so funny. I got there and the second day I got up, I started having this extreme pain in my back. And it was horrific. It was just unbearable. But I trudged through because I just couldn't let anything spoil my visit. And when I finally took a look at my back, I had an abscess in my back. So for 4 days I was in Brazil with this pain. But back to the topic, I like the way Charlie put it, that I have to remember the little things that lets me know that I am in a spiritual state. Because so often I don't think that I'm where I should be spiritually. And then I realized, well, that moment that you didn't cuss out the cashier in the grocery store, even though your mind was telling you to do that because for a moment you think you're the most important person in line and that everybody should be, at your beck and call. That moment that you listen to the right side of your brain instead of the left, and you mellowed out and waited your turn and brought peace into yourself and talked to everybody in a respectful way. I have to remember those little moments like that, because I have a forgetter, and I have, I'm selfish and self-centered to the core. And with 21 years of clean time, I still have to, thank you, I still have to catch myself, before I wreck myself. So, I'm not where I used to be. I'm more aware now. I really try hard to be the opposite of what my mind is telling me to do, because I've listened to the left side for so long, and it's still battling with the right side. And my left side, her name is GRCNA, and she just don't care. She's out to get me. So it's been an ongoing thing for me to stay on the right side of things. God is good to me. I trust in him. I believe in him. But he allows me to take my will back. And when I do, I pay the price. So thank y'all for letting me share.
Thanks for sharing. Aquanetta, you have your hand up. Would you like to share?
Hi, family. My name is Aquanetta P, and I'm a grateful recovering addict. And I can't get the face. Yeah, I'm trying to get the faces back, but okay. Okay, and I'm just totally grateful. And I want to thank both of the speakers. I mean, I got so much out of both of them, definitely. I love the honesty and things. So I'm a grateful recovering addict, and I live here in Jonesboro, Georgia now, and I decided to come on just at the right time. Spirituality. When the young lady was sharing Medina, I mean, I identified so much with her, and I identified with a lot of the experiences that she was talking about. And I put my number and everything. I would like her number to get in touch with her and everything. But for me, spirituality began with me from on the inside. I'm no different than anyone that walked in here 24 years, 7 months, and 18 days ago, And predecessors said things, some things I didn't heed to, absolutely not. I remembered when I wanted to be a sponsor, my sponsor told me, no, I need you to get further on in your steps. You don't need your sponsor to pass you. I didn't listen, right? I went and did it anyway. And then I wanted to control. I wanted to beat her up. I wanted to go grab her out of a crack house and the whole nine. And my sponsor wouldn't let me, She said, you're not going anywhere. You're not doing anything, And I learned from that lesson that, I can't even control most of my emotions and my feelings at that time, because I was doing the act as if with my higher power at the time. I seen it working with others, but I had never walked that walk to actually, get to that place. And this time in my recovery, I understand fully, the spiritualness of letting go, surrendering, for it to be my higher power's will, not mine, right? And even though I've done these things through the steps, which is in the traditions, and the steps and traditions, which is in the concepts, I've done service on area level, and but I'm just a home group server more so. I love the newcomers and everything, but now today, I finally understand that I am a grateful recovering addict, which makes me human. That I had to learn to touch the human side of me first, so that way I would stop. Because if you would ask me, I would say, I don't judge, I don't gossip, I don't do those kind of things, right? But in the sense of it all, it's not true, And I've been in a relationship for 17 years with the same man, right? Which got married on me. And which for some reason I felt that, after I thought about it and thought I did it spiritually, I can still see this man, You know what I'm saying? And it took a moment for me to understand that, listen, you know, it wasn't even about me settling. It wasn't about me being better than anybody. It was the fact that I no longer wanted to care for someone more than I did my higher power and myself. You know, I'm growing. I'm growing. Oh my God, I've grown so much within this last year. I'm 65 years old. And this 65 years has been wow. You know, today I'm more so listening. And this woman that shared tonight, she just caught my spirit and my heart. You know, and I would really love to get to know her and try to connect a little bit more with her. You know, her experience is beyond mine. And like, I'm very, very interested in that. The young man, I just want him to understand, my brother, right? That, wow, I am so in awe with your recovery. And I'm so proud of the honesty, you know. And to me, spirituality consists of so many beautiful words. You know, honesty, trust, integrity, you know, all these things that come together. So, no, I'm not perfect. I'm still growing every day. Right now, I'm living with my daughter and my 2 grandchildren. I haven't lived with my daughter since she was 19. She's 51. She's an alcoholic. She's drinking right now. I'm in my room with the door closed, doing what I need to do. No, I am not afraid of picking up because that's the furthest thing from my mind. But I'm just so grateful the way this God-given program has been put together. One other thing before I close. The second tradition, the paragraph under the heading says that we are trying to protect ourselves from ourselves. And not one of us can make I can't think of the word, like we can't make a decision for all of us at no time at all. And that made me understand that we're equal, no matter how much time we have, no matter what our recovery is. Like they said, it's unity, you know. And I just want to say I love y'all. I've been to many regional conventions. I'm proud to be able to get on the phone like this as well. Thank each and every one of y'all that's doing service and will continue doing service. And like, I love you all, and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm just in love with NA and my family. Thank you for letting me share.
Thanks for sharing.
Thanks for sharing.
Thanks for sharing.
Does anybody have a burning desire? Okay. I would like to thank today's workshop speakers and everyone who attended and participated. Let's close with a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, courage to change the things we can, and wisdom to know the difference.
And the wisdom to know the difference.
Amen.
Joshua, we don't read as fast as you.
I was trying to read real fast so you didn't have to hear us in the background.
Great meeting.
It was awesome. It is awesome.
Aquanetta, 3 minutes.
Hi, baby. I see ya. I see ya. Hi, I love ya. I love you, baby. I see my baby. I said, look at my baby. Oh my God. And if Medina is still, hi, I'm good. I really would want that young lady's phone number for real. But I put mine on the chat. So what's going on, everybody? How are you guys? Wow, this is awesome. Good night.
Please get her phone number and call her.
Please do.
And I sent it over to her. Medea, I see
Thank
her
you.
number in the
Thank
chat.
you. Thank you. This was an awesome meeting. Oh my God. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Indeed.
Ryan, I got a lot of t-shirts for the auction, but I don't know how to get them to y'all.
You get them to Josh.
Josh, you don't have to tell me how to get them to you. I got 21 years of t-shirts.
Oh.
21 years?
Yeah. Of Magna, West End, Gretna, And then I'm keeping all my Gretna shirts and my World shirts, but you can get some of them other ones.
Why don't you put those up for auction?
No,
Right. That's my NA girl
I'm
right
y'all
there.
that local stuff. Y'all can take to the newcomers.
All right, Myra, if you look over there to the right, take my number and save that in your phone.
Hold on, I'm gonna take a picture of it. I ain't taking a picture of y'all, just Joshua's number. Put it back, Joshua.
That'll be all
You
right.
already know what I look like.
That'll be all right.
Right.
Let's do that right there real quick.
I ain't gonna take no picture of you. I just want to take a picture of your phone
No,
number.
I'm kidding. You're fine. I wouldn't care. Let me do a somersault. Take one of that.
Well, Joshua, that'll give me something to look at late at night if I got your picture. How about that? Ain't nothing shaking over here. That'd be perfect. The
Hey,
model
you know what?
and the old
At
lady.
least I can make someone happy, I guess.
That is funny. All right, you guys have a wonderful night. I'm out. I love you guys.
Hey, okay. I sent you some more stuff, Aquanetta. You got it?
Yeah, that's my NA Go girl right there. All right, I'm gonna pull it up now.
All right.
I love you. I'll be talking to you very soon, okay?
All right.
All right then. Good night.
Bye.
Night. Thank you, hosts, all of you guys. Thanks. Wonderful
Thank
job.
you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Wonderful job. You're welcome. Anytime for us. Anytime.
Hey, Josh, where do we get, where's the auction?
I'm sorry.
I said, where's the auction?
It's going to be right here on the screen tomorrow, right?
Oh, is it? Oh, okay. My bad.
Yep. So when you go in, you'll go in just like we did here, and then George is going to be sharing his screen. He'll give you some login credentials, so you can be logged in and you can actually be bidding and submitting your bids while he's actually showing stuff on the screen.
What time?
I'll have to look, hon.
Oh, it's 9:45 to 11.
Tomorrow night.
9:45 to 11.
See, he gets you late like that so he can try to get the money out of you because he knows all of our standards and everything starts to decrease later in the day.
Deal.
He goes. We just start throwing money out to make it go away. Just give him $10, please. Make him go to the next bid.
Josh, are we gonna have anything there besides just stuff from the past 2 years and metal stuff, or
There's all different
what?
kinds of
Have
stuff.
any idea? I mean, I need to know whether to put more
I
money
have
in the
somewhat of
bank.
an idea, but it looked like it was fantastic stuff. But you never know
Okay,
what
So I
between
need
now
to
and
put
tomorrow.
more money in the bank or keep cash
Could
on
walk
me.
out.
I'm in the marathon meeting, so I'm gonna have to miss it.
Yeah, it's pretty decent stuff in there. He's got I don't know if there's a way. If you text George, it may give you a way to take a look at what he's got.
Yeah,
He
like-
showed us on the screen, but they've
Don't
shown me
worry
so many
about it.
things in the last 9 weeks. I mean,
Right.
look, after this convention, I could, if Zoom just never worked again, I wouldn't be mad for a couple of weeks.
Josh,
I
I
understand.
got that
I'm
gray.
going to bed.
for
I'll
addict.
see y'all in the morning.
All right, what's that,
Josh,
Brian?
I got that gray and red shirt from last year, one that I hadn't even worn. And I was like, well, where's the other one? I had to look through so much crap to find the one that I have worn and stuff. I was like, man, so that's a pile of stuff coming in for when we're in Augusta. If
Back
we
in
get
person
to
again?
Augusta
Yeah.
next year.
Do y'all have still have any other pre-t-shirts?
Love you. See you tomorrow. Night, George.
Good night.
Free?
I said any of the P-R-E.
Oh, they said
free.
free.
I think there
No,
are still more available.
I
Oh,
want a free shirt.
I got my shirt.
Stop it, Leanne.
I got my shirt.
There's
I'm about
still
to
more of
order
the free
one.
shirts available.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I need to know. I need the pre-shirt. I got the 39.
Go into the store and you'll see them there.
All right, will do.
All right, I'm out, y'all. Thank
All
y'all.
right, thank you.
Man, Charlie,
Charlie.
thank you.
Right.
Charlie.
By Indiana, Nashville, wherever you're
I
at.
know I was in Indiana in last year,
Back in the
So what else?
sticks.
last February.
Charlie, thank you so much for your share. You rocked it.
Well, thank you, Lan. I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
you did a good job, Charlie. I like the way you gave me a new perspective, so I don't run around here crazy, caught up in fear and agony because I can't seem to be spiritual like everybody else. You know, because we have a tendency to put other people above ourselves. We
Well,
can't
if
see
you
our own
figure out how
good.
to do that, like on a consistent basis, you call me, you let me know.
Oh, I'm just glad to hear it so that I can feel like I'm in the house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, that I'm just not all crazy.
Well, good night, y'all. Miriam, thank you for your message.
All right, thank you. Y'all have a good night.
Bye, Charlie.
Bye, y'all.
So if I order a t-shirt, like, is it gonna show up in the mail?
It better show up in the mail.
I'm gonna be there in 2 seconds.
If it don't show up, you let me know. It gives me a reason to call somebody and give them hell. I live for that.
Are you gonna? I was gonna say, like, you gonna carry it out on them?
Huh?
Awesome.
Don't forget about the 7:45 a.m. meeting in the morning.
Oh, I know. I just sent the email out on it.
Not I, Charlie Brown.
No. All right, I love you all. I'm going straight
See you
to bed.
tomorrow.
I think.
Yeah. I'll see you tomorrow,
George.
Josh. Thanks, everybody.
Sergio, Chris. Bye, gentlemen.